we all know what a furry is, but it doesn't really seem like any of us know who furries really are. So for my ethnography project, I decided to find out who is the human behind the fursuit. The first place I went to conduct more research was TikTok, and honestly what I saw there was really disturbing. And it mostly consisted of people hating on furries. Hashtags including furry lives don't matter and furries should be executed. Accounts on TikTok such as this one, going by the name of Furries Should Die and @furryhunter_die_furries. This hashtag was populated with hateful videos towards furries. And on one furry TikToker's video, the comments were filled with people alluding to shooting guns at furries. And finally, there were many homophobic comments similar to this one in the comments of the furry creators' videos. So from what I was seeing all over TikTok, it seemed like people really hated furries. So I went to some of my fellow classmates to see what their opinions on the matter were.
Okay, what are your preconceived notions about furries? Like, what do you think?
They seem a bit bizarre, but I don't really know anything about the culture, so...
Okay, do you feel like you've ever snap-judged that community without really knowing that much?
I do not, because they've all seemed really nice. I met some in Frisco.
That they were really weird, and that I didn't like them, and that they just, like, did super weird things and thought they were animals. They're kind of just freaky, and seems like inherently sexual, which is really weird. Yeah.
Like, I don't really relate to it, so it's kind of seems outside. And my cousin wore a tail to the 4th of July barbecue a few years ago, and I thought that was a little weird.
My next step was to travel down to Highlands Ranch to interview 2 furries I met over Instagram named Connor and Abby.
Yeah, I'm Connor. My furry name is Gritty.
Yeah, I'm Abby. My furry name is Jessie. My character is a fox.
Alright.
And mine's a dragon.
Oh. The first question I have for you guys is, what does it mean to you to identify as a furry?
I don't know, at least for me, it's not necessarily an identity. It's more of like a hobby.
Yeah.
It's more like with horseback riding, I used to be into show jumping, but I was a horseback rider, and I am a furry, but it's not that it's a part of my identity. It's just a part of what I like.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a part of what I do for a job right now. I create costumes for cosplayers and furries as a profession, but it's not quite an identity, but it's definitely something that is a big part of how I've been able to develop self-expression and how I enjoy bringing joy into the world.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then, see, I know you said you guys met through the furry fandom.
Yep.
Yes.
How did you both get involved with it to start out with?
I got involved through, I actually was a cosplayer long before being a furry, and I went to a convention and there were some fursuiters, and I actually was just like, I want to figure out how to make them because they look cool. Mm-hmm. And then I went online and found videos of like dance competitions and fursuit parades and stuff like that, and I'm like, that seems like something that makes people really happy.
Yeah.
And so I figured out how to make a costume more out of the cosplay side of myself in the interest of learning to create. And then I found out that there were meets and stuff around here, and I was able to go and find people who had a similar interest, and it was just a lot of fun, and so I stuck around.
Great, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So when we were originally messaging about meeting up, you mentioned, obviously, you had concerns about us using this footage to kind of make fun of furries and whatnot. Do you feel like you face a lot of kind of like torment and stuff for being a furry? Like, I know on TikTok, furries are often like really made fun of. Do you feel like you experience that?
Not
really.
In general everyday life. In specific areas, yes. I've definitely been to parks where some of the parents that were there felt the need to go online and tell their friends that if they ever saw us, they should call the police. And I have gotten people online who who send like death threats and stuff. It was mostly on TikTok during like the big gamer war or whatever.
Yeah.
But I never really felt like I was actually in danger because of it. It's more just like I know that some people just don't know how to really talk to people that they don't understand their interests.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I'd say just about the saying going off of Abby, because it was, I mean, generally it's not that bad. People are like, it's weird. We know it's weird. We
Yeah.
dress up like a giant fluffy animal and run around all day.
Okay.
Not every day, but at conventions and stuff.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just hard for people to understand, but for the most part, people are just like, yeah, cool, you're a giant fluffy thing.
Right.
And then a lot of times, like I have neighbors who I'll come over when their children are down, or maybe just they want to hang out or see Dribby. So I just come over and I just wave hi and just see how they're doing.
Great. Yeah,
And so
that's
it's just
awesome.
kind of fun to cheer people up with that.
Yeah.
So kind of moving into, like you guys said, the parents were kind of afraid. Is there any big myths about furries that you guys kind of want to dismantle and say, like, you know, this is wrongly associated with furries, this isn't true about furries?
I would say, like, there's a few myths just in general about being weird and about being just different without going into specifics. And a lot of it is just like every community. There's a lot of good and there's also some bad. And that doesn't matter what community you're a part of. There's always going to be people that you don't want to associate yourself with.
Right.
And so there definitely is that divide where there's people that you don't want to associate yourself with within the fandom.
Sums it up pretty well. There's a few outliers and stuff that has been brought up on just like TV and shows and stuff that most part, like for the most part, there are some parents who are concerned, but I've had way more good experience with parents than bad ones. Way more often we get good responses from people and people who are excited to see us and see us perform.
So after our interview, Abby went ahead and got dressed up in her fursuit as Jessie with the help of Connor, so we could take a little bit of a closer look as to what that looks like for her and the creative process behind creating fursuits.
So this is your fursuit, and you made it entirely, right?
I didn't make the bodysuit, but I did the head, the hands, the feet, and the tail.
Oh wow. You build fursuits for others, right?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Right now, my queue is completely full.
That's awesome.
That's the only reason it's closed is because I have so many to work on.
That's awesome. All right, yeah. So this is like what you guys would wear to an average con.
Yep.
Yeah.
Except this one would usually be in a suit like this.
And this.
Yep.
Okay. So, do you guys have anything else you want to say about the fur suits?
Mine actually is interesting because there's actually a fan system inside of the nose. The
Oh, wow.
holes in the nose go all the way through, and there's a fan at the back.
Whoa,
So I
that's
can
awesome.
turn it on. I just have to plug in like a phone charger battery, and then my fan can go the whole time at a con.
That's
and
awesome.
mine has speakers.
Oh, I love that.
so cool.
So, how is your peripheral vision?
In my suit, I can see about here, and then I have a very small, like right here that I can't see, but other than that, I can see everything here.
And so if I look straight at you, I can't even see you.
Oh, really?
I can't see anything in this vicinity here, and then my vision stops like right here.
Okay, so I'd have to be over here, like facing one of your eyes for you to see
Yep,
me. Okay.
exactly. So that's if I'm like to create the illusion that I continue to look at you, is I kind of tilt my head back
Okay.
and forth, or I just kind of keep one eye on, and then it just kind of looks like I'm looking at you always.
Exactly.
Like the
Nice.
suit is, but I'm actually trying to look at you.
Yeah.
Well, I love these. They're definitely, I can see how this is a great window for creativity and stuff.
Overall, the biggest thing I learned is that Connor and Abby were just regular old people like you and me. I understand that sometimes when we don't understand something, our first instinct is to judge. But at the end of the day, we're all human, and we all deserve equal amounts of respect. The main moral of this story is, no matter what you think, there's always going to be a human behind the fursuit. And any day that you're striving to show kindness to individuals, even if you don't understand them, is a good day.